Hey everyone, welcome to another monthly Q&A video. Before we start the actual questions, I do just want to preface this with saying if I sound a little weird at all, or if you hear any weird edits throughout the video, it's probably me editing out a bunch of coughing because I am still getting over a cold. So I apologize for any sound issues, but hopefully the video itself will still be good. Anyways, let's get into the questions. First question from Shane Linham, asking something I think a lot of us expected to hear. Do you like what Ubisoft is doing to making the game China friendly? So, quick summary for those of you who haven't heard. Ubisoft is making a few aesthetic changes to the game to make it more friendly for Chinese consumers. Up until now, China has had their own version of the game with all the changes made to it. As far as I'm understanding, I still don't know exact details on that. But yeah, until now they've had their own version, and now Ubisoft is changing everyone else's version to be in line with theirs, so that way there's only one version for the entire world. Ubisoft claims this is to speed up their productivity, although they haven't really released any information onto how it does that. And overall, I have mixed reactions. I agree with the majority saying it is fairly fucking dumb that they're doing this, but I can also understand where they're coming from. It really is not a huge deal because it doesn't change any gameplay aspects, but there is a whole other argument to it. A lot of people are taking it to be a patriotical one, being like, how can you let China control what we're allowed to see? And to a certain extent, they're right. There is no reason to let a fascist slash dictatorship country determine what we can and cannot see. But Ubisoft is probably doing it in the interest of money. I don't exactly know how much money they would save from this. I don't think they would save much at all, but I'm sure it's probably going to make them more money in the long run somehow. I've asked a few people and I've gotten varying answers. A lot of people are claiming that this is so that they can finally open their game to China, but the game is already available in China, so it's not like they're going to open their game population more. Like, people already have access to the game. They're not going to suddenly see a huge increase in players. And since China, as far as I know, is still going to be region locked, it's not like it's going to affect the rest of the world. So I just don't really understand how this is really good besides what they claim that it'll increase efficiency in testing things. Personally, if I could choose, I would say that Ubisoft should go with making separate versions for China and then normal versions for the rest of the world. I don't really see how they can't afford to do this because every other AAA publisher in the world does this. Blizzard makes Chinese versions for I think all of their games, and other game developers and publishers do the exact same thing. I think Zombies mode in Call of Duty has robots instead there. Yeah, this is definitely not the norm, I'd say, and hopefully not something that influences the future. But one thing that really bothers me is the fact that Ubisoft, or some of the people on their team themselves, have said that in the future there will likely be multiple versions of the game, and that they will have to make separate copies then. And if they're already predicting there to be separate copies in the future, why would they bother changing it now? Are they only going to have increased efficiency for one season? Is that really worth making the changes globally? I don't really understand how it is. Because in a Reddit comment when, shit's hitting the fan on the subreddit, one of the developers did come out and say, we will be making changes in the future that will make separate branches, but for now we want to keep it on the same one. So I don't really understand the point, because they say it's to increase efficiency, that way they don't have to test as many things on two different versions of a map. But if you're going to change it in the future anyways, what's the point of changing it now? So I know my answer is kind of all over the place. It's not really concrete, and that's kind of how I feel. I don't really have a definitive answer on this. I'm trying to see it from both sides of the argument, but I side more with the people who are upset about this because realistically, Ubisoft doesn't have a good excuse. But at the same time, it's aesthetic changes. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't really matter. I'm just interested to see what they will do with stuff like Cavieta, who her icon itself has a skull and a knife, and skull and knives aren't allowed on Chinese servers. So are they just going to change her icon? And if they change her icon, that means they're going to have separate versions. So again, why are they bothering doing all this? It doesn't make sense to me. I've given you guys the information I know and my opinion on it. You guys can let me know what you think down below. I know this is a very hot topic and a lot of people are very at each other's throats for it, but I'm trying to see it from both ends and I still don't understand what Ubisoft's point is in all of this. Hopefully that answered the question. Question from Lucas asking, do you think Lesion should get some kind of nerf? The lesion main inside of me wants to say no, but realistically he probably should. I think his number of traps is probably too high. I think the amount of damage it does is probably too high. You could change either one of these values. Legion's traps, when I am Legion, is awesome. When I'm against Legion is really fucking annoying. I think it kind of does too much, the trap itself, once you set it off. Doing 10 damage initially and then 8 damage every, I think it's 2 or 3 seconds, is kind of annoying because it basically puts you in a really shitty situation. Either you take out the needle when you're exposed, because usually the traps are in very open areas, or you hide and then take it out. But if you hide and then take it out, you're probably going to take more damage because you have to slowly walk over to another area. I think a good change could either being remove the sprint limiting factor of it, like allow you to sprint, or reducing the amount of damage it does. Maybe do 5 damage on hit and then like 2 or 3 damage every 2 or 3 seconds. It would be very little, but I don't think each individual goo should do so much. I mean, it could do that much if the trap was visible, but it's not. So overall, yeah, he could probably use a nerf. As much as I don't want that to happen, it probably would be for the best of the game. Trap operators have made this game very, very hard to play, and Legion's not helping. Question from Will asking, what do you want to see in year 4? 2 things. I guess it's not 2 things I want to see. It's 2 things I don't want to see. 1, I want to see less global abilities. 2, I want to see less trap operators. Those are the only 2 things that I really, really want. Traps are really not fun to go up against. Global abilities are really not fun to play against. When someone can have an ability that you cannot stop and affects everyone on the map, it is not fun. So those are the only 2 things that I really, really don't want to see. Anything else I'm fine with. I guess I could add one more thing. I do really want to see a Maverick nerf in year 4, because I seriously doubt it's going to come in year 3. But that's it. Question from Christoph asking, what do you think about removing the Elda hipfire accuracy? Should it be as a normal thing for all LMGs, or should it just disappear from the game? So this is talking about the change that Ubisoft just recently made. Maestro's LMG, before it would always have a tight hipfire accuracy, and then the more you fired, the more accurate it would get over time. And they removed this because they originally intended for this to be a mechanic that people would use to like cover and suppress the fire, and then they realized it wasn't actually being used for that at all. So they're like, okay, let's just remove it. And I kind of hate to see it go because it was something unique, but it was also kind of overpowered because the fact that you could hipfire from like across the map and kill someone easily was pretty bad, especially on an LMG. I think having it be like a normal LMG is perfectly fine. There really was no reason for it to have that. Question from Damien asking, what do you think about having a main in R6? Is it important? Does it make sense? How to choose one? So first off, 1, no. Please do not have a main operator in the game. 2, if you do have a main operator, it's okay. Just don't make it all about you have to play that one operator. I know a lot of people from ranked, like just playing with them, and every time I get in the game with them, I'm like, okay, I know they are going to play specifically these 2 operators and these 2 operators only. The worst part is when you're trying to get a good team comp and the person who only mains one operator refuses to go someone that would actually help the team. I can't tell you how many times that we've been choosing operators and we're like, okay, they're going to go to a garage, let's take Thermite, Hibana, Capitao, Glaz, and then we need a Thatcher so that we can break in. And the last person on the team who hasn't chosen one of those people, we're like, hey, can you go Thatcher? And then they just choose Ash, and then rush in and die. Like, having a main operator and only choosing that person and only doing what you want does not help the team at all. Now, if your team is, like, they don't care or they don't need anyone specifically, then sure, go an operator you're comfortable with. I'd rather my teammates choose someone they're comfortable with than someone they're not. But just refusing to go anyone else because you want to play your main is one of the worst things you can do for your team. Question from Dune, do you ever feel like finding a real team to play with that is good and trying to make it /stay in Diamond? Direct answer, no, not at all. I would rather have fun with this game than always trying to stay in Diamond. I used to do that a lot, and it made me, well, pretty stressed overall because it really was not fun, constantly trying to go for Diamond and trying to maintain it. And then two, it made me really start hating the game because when you're in Diamond and always seeing the exact same strats and the exact same thing, you start getting really bored. I don't want to see the exact same strat run in, day out, and only having one strat to counter that. It's boring. I would much rather stay in middle to low plat and goof around with my friends and have fun rather than always trying so hard. It's a completely different environment and not for me. Question from Unicorn Puncher. What were your thoughts on the Madhouse game mode, both the map and gameplay, as well as the cosmetics and alpha packs? So I only got to play the Madhouse a few times. I played it while I was at TwitchCon, and then when I got back, I played it a few times. I wasn't a huge fan. I don't like game modes that limit what operators you can go because I don't find it to be as much fun. It's kind of like forcing you to do something very specific, and to me, that's just not enjoyable. The other issue I had was with Madhouse, you couldn't see any fucking thing on the map. Especially as a defender, you couldn't look outside, so that just really promoted sitting on site with a shotgun and waiting for people to run at you. As far as cosmetics and alpha packs go, I will always say that I hate those paid premium alpha packs. Those are fucking garbage and bullshit and shouldn't exist in the game. $60 just to try to get a few things. $60 actually gets all of them, but like say paying $30 and maybe not even getting the skin you want, that's bullshit. That should never happen. But I'm sure there's enough people out there who probably paid those $60 to get everything, and that Ubisoft's like, hey, we made money on this. Let's keep doing it forever. So fuck the cosmetics. The game mode was okay, but I think it could have used some work. I do like that they're trying to branch out to different fun things, though. That's cool. They just need to work a little harder on it. Alfie asking, what are your future plans for your channel, and more specifically, Solo Smurf? So for the channel, broadly, I am looking to hire an editor in the new year. I want to release a lot more videos that are non-siege related, and I think I'll be doing videos every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and they'll all be variety videos. This will include games that you guys have seen like Deceit, Spy Party, Overcooked, stuff like that, but also new games that we want to try and stuff we just want to have fun with. This won't have any impact on the Siege videos. I'll still upload Siege videos daily, but this would just be another thing to help grow the channel, because as much as I love Siege and as much as I want to keep playing Siege, I don't want to make the channel solely Siege and then when Siege dies, I'm fucked. I want to start branching out now, and hopefully people will start to watch those things. I know it might affect the growth of my channel because some people will come here and say, I don't want to watch these videos, I only want to watch Siege, so they won't sub, but that's a risk I'm willing to take if it means potential growth. For Solo Smurf, I'll keep the series going as long as you guys enjoy it. For me, I like it for a variety of reasons. One, to be honest, it's pretty easy to make. It's one of my easiest series to make. I go play on my other account for like an hour, and I usually get 2 or 3 matches, and that's content for half the week. But two, I actually do enjoy playing it because it is a fresh take. I don't really play seriously on my main account anymore. I mainly just joke around and have fun with friends. So it is nice to play competitively every once in a while, but not too much where I get bored of it. But yeah, I'll keep the series going as long as people keep watching it. If ever a day comes where people just stop watching it and it's like the least popular series on my channel, I'll probably kill it and maybe revive it in the future, but for now I'll keep it going. Question from Ayub, what map do you think should get a rework? Personally, my least favorite map in the entire game right now is Cafe. It is just so boring and linear. Like, every single game I play is the exact same thing. You spawn, you rappel up to the roof, you break into the top, work your way down. It's always the exact same thing. It needs to change. I know a lot of people like it because of how linear it is, but for me that's just so boring. All the new maps and all of the reworked maps, like say Clubhouse, there I can push a different way every single game. Sometimes I push Strip Club, sometimes I push through Garage, sometimes through Blue, sometimes through Kitchen, sometimes from above. Like it's always different. There's so many different ways to go. Cafe, you rappel to the roof, you break the hatch, you drop in. Every single time. MW2 King asking, what operator do you think needs to be added that will be an absolute necessity in countering Maverick? Or do you think he just needs to be nerfed like you said previously about the sound of his torch? So, not trying to call you out or anything, but I am trying to say that a lot of people have this bad mindset of, instead of seeing an overpowered operator like Maverick and thinking, how do we nerf him? A lot of people are thinking, okay, Why don't we just add someone to counter him? Having direct counterplay in this game is not fun. It sucks. Whenever we have one specific operator counter another one, it just always leads to super annoyance. Like, could you imagine if, say, for example, Jaeger was just immune to Ying's flashes because they're grenades, so he's just immune to them or whatever? Do you know how annoying it would be if every single time you Yinged out a room and then ran in and it just so happened to be Jaeger and he kills you because he's not blind? Do you know how annoying that would be? It would be so frustrating. We do not need operators to one counter another. Operators should be able to counter a variety of different gadgets for a variety of different reasons. Sure, like Mute can jam a bunch of different gadgets. But if Mute could only jam thermite charges, that would be the worst thing ever. And then also, people wouldn't run that operator because, say, if, for that same example, if Mute could only jam thermite charges, why the fuck would people run Mute? Because what if they have a Hibana? Then Mute does nothing. So people would only run Bandit instead. So having an operator that specifically counters another one will not work. No one will choose them because it heavily relies that the enemy chooses that one person. Not something we should have. Maverick should just have a much louder torch. Plain and simple. RJ asking, what do you think about the smoke buff, and do you think this has brought him back into the meta? I'm going to assume that this smoke buff that you're talking about is his SMG-11 getting a slightly better recoil. If you stopped running smoke because of the SMG-11 nerf, then you don't really know how to play smoke. Smoke has a really powerful primary SMG, the FMG-9, and the SMG-11 still can be used, you just can't auto-fire like you used to. If you stopped running smoke because of that, then I'm sorry, you need to learn about the meta more, because smoke is still very, very powerful regardless of how nerfed his SMG-11 gets. He is still very good. Question from Alejandro, what's your favorite Disney movie or movie in general? Favorite Disney/Pixar would be a tie between Inside Out and WALL-E. Those are two amazing animated films. WALL-E because the first 45 minutes has absolutely no dialogue. That just blows my mind how they managed to get away with that. And then Inside Out because it's so real. Overall, movie in general, probably Mad Max Fury Road because the cinematography, sound, just everything in that movie was just so well done. And the last question of this video from Excite, do you think there should be more counters to Lion? Kind of touches back on the question 2 questions ago, but I'll talk about it again. No, we don't need Lion to have more counters. Lion should either just be removed from the game or completely reworked, because the way he is right now is just stupid. The only way you can make him have a counter is if every defending gadget would be like a mute jammer, where if you're within a certain radius of any defending gadget, you won't get scanned. But even then, just overall, he's too powerful. Just fucking remove him. We don't need this shit in the game. We need people to have actual skill. And that will be it for the Q&A. Before I do go, I do want to mention one thing for you guys. If you do enjoy the YouTube channel and want to support in some way, the easiest way to do it is to subscribe on Twitch. That is direct support. And I know a lot of you will have the issue of not being able to afford it because it's a monthly fee. If you do want to subscribe for free, consider subscribing with Twitch Prime. If your household has Amazon Prime, doesn't matter if you're paying for it or your parents are paying for it, you will get a free sub every single month. All you have to do is link your Twitch account to your Amazon account, and then you get 1 free sub every single month. You go to my Twitch channel, click the subscribe button, and you're good for a month. And then you have to come back every single month if you want to keep it going. Or you can sub to other channels. But I just want to let you guys know because it is a really good way to support. I know a lot of people don't actually know about it. And if you do subscribe right now within the next 2 weeks, I'm having a giveaway until November 17th, where I'll be giving away 3 Rainbow Six Chibis like I did last time to random Twitch subs. Only to Twitch subs. Doesn't matter if you Twitch Prime sub or $5 sub or whatever, you will be entered for it. And the winners get to choose which chibi they get from anyone on the store. So anyways, links to the Twitch channel are down below. Go check out if you want. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.